Let's talk about the data movement from Azure SQL to Fabric. In this video, I'm going to show you how we can move the data from Azure SQL into Fabric environment, especially Fabric data warehouse. So in order to do that, so basically again what I try to do is we are bringing the data from Azure SQL into Fabric warehouse. For that I should have the Azure SQL. I have that, I'll show you, and then I should have the Fabric environment, Fabric warehouse. So I'm going to create the warehouse, and then for that work there will be two different ways we can perform. One we can do is we can do from the Fabric pipeline. One is Fabric pipeline, the another is we can do the Fabric data mirroring approach. So I'm going to show you in both how this is going to work, pipeline versus mirroring, in order to copy the data from SQL to warehouse. So let me go and show you Azure SQL first, where my data is. So in order to see my data, so in SQL, Azure SQL, I have a Dilip DB here. So in this database, let me, if I go to password, I can show you my data here. So if I go, these are the data. There are some data. There's table, data, view, and store procedure. I have some of them. So we wanted to move this data from this Azure cloud into the Fabric. So in order to, so I'm going to the Fabric now. What I'm going to do is I am gonna go to the workspace. I'm gonna choose my workspace, the WS, and I'm gonna create the data warehouse first. So I'm gonna create the data warehouse. Warehouse, right? Delete DW to migrate data from Azure to Azure. Let's say delete data warehouse to migrate data from Azure. So let's say this is my data warehouse. I'm going to create this data warehouse. So as of now, I don't have anything in this data warehouse. I don't have any table and things like this. This is the blank data warehouse. So I am gonna the next is I need to bring the data into this data warehouse. What you can do is you can click the pipeline here itself and then set up that environment. It will bring give the pipeline in and set up the source and destination. I'm going to show you the another approach, that creating the pipeline through the pipeline. So bringing data into this data warehouse through the pipeline. So in order to do that, what I'm going to do, I'm going to go back to my workspace, then I'll create the pipeline. So get data. I'm going to choose the get data pipeline here, and then I'm going to give this pipeline name is copy Azure data. So this is my pipeline name. In this pipeline, so the next step is so what I'm going to use a pipeline to copy data. For that, what I mentioned here is it required the admin setting. So admin setting is basically what I need to do is I have to go to the setting option here, and then I gotta make some gateway setting or manage a connection setting from here. So this is how we make our connection. So I can click there, and then what I need to do is basically I can click on new connection, and then I can choose the on-prem or virtual network or cloud. So since we are bringing the data from the cloud, so I'm going to choose the cloud. So I'm going to give the name is data from cloud or Azure, right? Azure, and then I'm going to establish the connection drop down, and I'm going to serve the SQL server here because my data is in cloud SQL server. I'm going to switch the SQL server. I'm going to give the server name. So in order to give the server name, I'm going to go to my SQL database and go to the overview page, and then in this overview I will have the server name. So this is my server name. I'm going to click and copy the server name, and I will paste the server name here. And then the database name, I'm going to go and see my database. This is my database name. I'm going to copy that, and then I'm going to paste that database name here. And for authentication, I'm going to choose basic. I will be using my username for this database, and I will be choosing password, and then this will be encrypted is fine. Privacy level is I'm going to have none for now. Then I'm going to click create. So this is what the gateway connection we just built, right? I can close this one because the data from Azure, this is what we just created. So I can refresh and see if it is online or not, right? So this is online. So now what I can do is I can go back to my pipeline. So this is my pipeline, and then I can create the pipeline activity. So once I click this pipeline activity, there will be a different option I can select, right? Store procedure, script, notebook, KQL, and many things. I'm going to do the copy activity because we are copying a data from copying a data from Azure to Synapse or Fabric actually. So I'm going to give the similar names. Copy data from Azure SQL to Fabric. This is what my pipeline name, and then I'm gonna select the connection. So connection is basically I already created that connection, right? Connect to the Azure SQL. So I'm going to select that connecting Azure SQL. Let me refresh. I think I created another connection as well. So I think I created data from Azure, right? So I'm going to select that one, and then I'm going to choose the test connection. My connection should be established because we configured this data from Azure. So this is successful. Now source is basically done. So now what I need to do is I got to go to the destination. Then I can choose my destination. Destination is basically my data warehouse, so that I created earlier. Delete data warehouse to migrate data warehouse. So this is what my data warehouse is, right? So right here, I can choose some table from my, some of the table. Let me see if there is anything. Okay. If I click here, it will bring my data source and this. If I go back to the destination, I can choose the table name here. So let me choose, let me do the auto create a new table. So schema, I'm gonna do DBO, and then table name is my new table, new data from Azure to Azure SQL. Let's say my data from Azure SQL, and let's say I am going to create this table, right? And what I'm going to do is, and with that it will be, and if I go to the advanced, and then now what I need to do, I don't need to go to the advanced, I have to map something here. So in order to do mapping source and destination, I can do new mapping or import schemas. So in order to import schema, so let's see. Okay, so there is one thing in source I have always, so for connection manager I can choose my SQL database. So this is what Azure SQL database. As soon as I choose the Azure SQL database, then it will ask me the database name, and then it will ask me the table, which table I wanted to bring it here. So let me see if I want to bring the product table, right? I can choose the product table right here. I can preview the data as well on the product table itself. Since okay, this is my preview for product data. What I'm going to do, this is my source, this is what the destination. Product data will be copied as this table name, and then for the mapping I can go and import the schema now. So I can verify this source and destination is data. This mapping looks good to me. So with that being done, source and destination and mapping was corrected. Now what I can do is I can run this pipeline. I can save this one, this pipeline, copy data pipeline. I can save it. It's saved, and now I can validate as well. There is no issue I found. Then I can run by clicking here, or you can schedule to run this one, or you can add a trigger for for future as well. Let me quickly run this pipeline. As soon as I hit this, hit the run, it will start giving us the status of job. To take since there's based on the the compute size and things, it will take some time. Just complete it, the run. So let me go to my Fabric workspace, and let me go to my data warehouse. This is my data warehouse, and then the data warehouse, if I go to the schema, and then if I DBO and table, so the table has been copied. My data from Azure SQL has been copied. So there is, if I click here, the data has been copied over, just like that. Okay, so what we have done, we have copied data, Azure data into the Fabric data warehouse using pipeline. The another method is, if you there is a there is another method we can do is data mirroring. I'm not going to show you entirely, but I just want to show you there is another method to bring the data, which is data mirroring. What we can do is, let me go to the Fabric. Let me go to my my workspace. I'm going to create the mirroring. So data mirror Azure Database, mirror Azure data to SQL data, mirrored Azure SQL data. So I have to bring this one. So this is what I need to do it basically. So I have to select SQL database, and I will be configuring this. So let me do quickly. Let me bring to this, and let me have maybe a new connection. Let me click on connect. Okay. With that, this will pop up all the table from the source. And again, there is an option. We can have some table or all table. I can select all once this is ready, and then we'll have the destination, and we can run this mirror as well. Once that's done, the data will be in data warehouse. Um, Data cannot be mirrored Fabric due to the below error. Data is already been mirrored another Fabric warehouse. So this is already mirrored. That's why we cannot mirror. That is what it's telling. So I can let's connect some of the table here, and then click on connect. And what else we can do is we will be selecting the destination, which is Fabric data warehouse that we have created. Let me unselect some of the table that I think is not going to work. So let me click here. But this is what the idea behind migrating data or moving data from Azure SQL or on-prem SQL to Fabric. So we can do a couple of ways, like pipeline in Fabric or data mirroring in Fabric. So that is all I wanted to share with this video. And this data mirroring will take some time. So I think I already show you on the pipeline that is going to be the same process and mirroring as well, source and destination configuration, and run that configuration. Okay. So I'm gonna cancel that out. But there's again, and that will be our process. So let me go to the data warehouse mirror. There is one table. We copy it over with the pipeline activity, and then pipeline activity is basically this, right? Not this, but this. You configure. What did you do here is I just configure source and destination. The source was configured through manage connection and gateway setting, and this is quite easy using Fabric for data copying data. So this is all I wanted to cover in this video. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.